Your container died at 3 in the morning with exit code 137, and the logs simply stop. No error at all. Did the application crash? Did Docker kill it? Did the machine do something on its own? On most teams, nobody actually knows. This is part 2. Part 1 made you functional. These 20 are the ones that make you the person who debugs everyone else. 2 promises. By concept 14, that exit code becomes 2 diagnoses. And 1 concept explains where 60 gigabytes of your disk went. Act 1 goes under the hood. Docker is not one program, it is 4 in a trench coat. Any of them can kill your container. Act 2 is about builds. These are the 7 things that separate an image that works from an image that behaves. And Act 3 is production. Every concept in that act is something that has woken somebody up. Let us start. Number 1, the client and the daemon. When you type Docker, you are not running Docker. You are sending a message. The Docker command is a small client. It sends a plain request over a socket to a background daemon, and the daemon does everything. That daemon runs as root. So if you ever mount the Docker socket into a container, you have handed that container your whole machine. Number 2, containered and runc. The daemon does not create containers either. It delegates twice. Containered manages the lifecycle. Runc is the piece that actually asks the Linux kernel for the namespaces and the control groups. These are open standards. That is why Kubernetes could stop using the Docker daemon and talk to containered directly, and your images kept working. Number 3, the writable layer. Every image layer underneath your container is read-only and shared with every other container using it. Your container gets one thin writable layer on top. Every file it creates or changes lives only in that layer. So when you delete the container, that layer goes with it. That is not a bug. That is why volumes exist. Number 4, deletes do not shrink an image. Download something large in one build step, then delete it in the next. The image does not get smaller. The delete only writes a marker in the newer layer that hides the file. The bytes are still in the layer below, and they still ship. Download and delete inside the same run step or use a multi-stage build. Number 5, the hidden virtual machine. Ask any container on a Mac what kernel it is running, and it will tell you Linux. Containers need a Linux kernel, so Docker Desktop quietly runs one Linux virtual machine, and every container you start lives inside it. Every bind-mounted file has to cross that boundary. That crossing is why builds on a Mac can feel so much slower than on a Linux server. Number 6, process ID 1 and signals. The first process in a container gets process ID 1, and the kernel treats it differently. Docker stop sends a polite termination signal. A process running as ID 1 ignores the default handlers, so nothing happens. 10 seconds later, it is killed. Fix it with the init flag or by handling the signal in your code. And remember that exit code. It comes back at concept 14. Number 7, entry point versus command. This is the pair everybody mixes up, and the rule is short. Entry point is the thing that always runs. Command is only the default set of arguments, and anything you type after the image name replaces it. Write both in the bracket form, not the shell form. The shell form wraps your process in a shell, and that shell swallows the stop signal. Number 8, build argument versus environment variable. They look interchangeable in a Docker file, and they are completely different. A build argument exists only while the image is being built. An environment variable is baked in and is there every time you start it. And build arguments are written into the image history, so anyone who pulls your image can read them. Never put a password in one. Number 9, cache mounts. Change one source file and the dependency install runs again and downloads the entire internet again. A cache mount gives that step a persistent pocket that layer invalidation cannot empty. Same command, 20 seconds instead of 3 minutes. The pocket lives on the builder, not in the image. So your laptop, a teammate, and the build server each warm their own. Number 10, build secrets. You often need a private token during a build, and Concept 8 just showed why a build argument is the wrong place. Mount it as a secret instead. The file appears for exactly one build step, and it is never written into any layer. So there is nothing for anyone to dig out of the image afterwards. This is the only safe way to use a token during a build. Number 11, multi-architecture images. Your laptop is probably ARM. Your server is probably Intel. One tag can serve both. A single tag can point at a list with one real image per platform, and every machine quietly pulls the one that matches it. Build on a Mac without asking for the server platform, and you get an exec format error in production. One buildx command prevents it. Number 12, tags versus digests. Part 1 told you that latest is a wish. Here is the part that actually protects you. A tag is a sticker somebody can move to another image. A digest is a hash of the content, so it can never point elsewhere. Pin the digest, and you get the exact bytes you tested. It is the only reference in Docker that can never silently change under you. Number 13, the commit trap. A normal image has a lineage, a Docker file, a build, and an image anyone can reproduce. Now the shortcut. Something breaks, so you open a shell, fix it by hand, and commit. You get a working image, and it feels great. But the recipe slot is empty. Nobody can rebuild it or say what is inside. If it is not in the Docker file, it does not exist. Number 14, resource limits. This is the concept I promised you in the first minute, so let us settle that dead container. Exit code 137 has exactly two causes. Either the kernel killed it for passing your memory limit, or it hit the stop timeout. And you can tell them apart with one command. Inspect the container and read the OOM killed field. True is memory. False is the timeout. Number 15, restart policies. Unless stopped is the one you almost always want because it survives a reboot but respects a manual stop. It restarts a container whose process has died. That part works exactly as you would hope, and it never stops watching. But a process can be alive and completely broken, returning errors to every request. Docker sees it running and reports it as up. Add a health check. Number 16, do not run as root. If your Docker file has no user instruction, your application is running as root inside that container. And that matters because a container escape from a root process can mean root on the host machine itself. 2 lines fix it. Create a user, then switch to it. This is the cheapest security you will ever add. Number 17, a read-only root file system. Most applications never write anything outside a temporary directory, so do not let them. Give the container a small in-memory area for scratch files instead. It writes there, and it vanishes on exit. Now an attacker who gets in cannot drop a file anywhere. And if your app refuses to start this way, that is something worth discovering today. Number 18, runtime secrets. Passing a database password as an environment variable is the default habit, and it leaks in 3 directions at once. Anyone who can inspect the container reads it. Crash logs print it. And every child process your app starts inherits it. Mount it as a file instead, and read that file at startup. Compose and Kubernetes both do this, and it closes all 3 at once. Number 19, depends on does not mean ready. In Compose, a plain depends on waits only for the other container to start. So both begin together. Your database is still initializing while your application is already trying to connect, and it crashes on every cold start. Add the healthy condition, and Compose waits for the health check to actually pass. Started is not ready, and the health check is the difference. Number 20, prune and disk usage. This is the other thing I promised you at the start. Where did 60 gigabytes go? Run Docker system df, and it itemizes the answer. Build cache is almost always the biggest line, then dangling images and stopped containers. Prune reclaims all of it, but the volumes flag deletes real data, so read what it lists before you agree. 20 concepts, and they collapse into about 15 habits. You do not need to memorize a single one of them. You need to recognize the symptom. A container that will not shrink, an image that will not start, a disk that fills itself. Screenshot this one, and tell me in the comments which of these 20 actually bit you in production first. Concept 6, Process ID 1, was only 10 seconds of a much bigger story. So was the writable layer, and so was Runk. Act 1 kept pointing at the same question. What is a container actually when the kernel looks at it? There is a whole video that walks Docker run from the command you type to the first instruction of your process. That is next.